All right, let's move it along. This one's coming from Relationship Advice, and it was posted 6 days ago. My girlfriend called me unfair when I said I'd be putting my name on the deed when I buy a house. I, 28 male, have been with my partner, 25 female, over 3 years, and we've said in the next 5 years it would be nice if we have enough saved to put a deposit for a house. Well, last month I won a pretty substantial amount of money on a game show, which will allow me to put a large down payment on a house and get a mortgage. I was talking about this with my partner and mentioned to her that since I would be the one paying the down payment and deposit, that I would only be putting my name as the house owner. I said I don't expect her to pay towards the mortgage. I'd only expect her to contribute towards utilities and groceries. She said I was being unfair since we were planning on buying a house together. I said she wants me to wait until we both have the money, then that's fine. I'm more than happy to wait. She said since I have the money now, it makes sense for us to get a house now since it would mean we're not paying rent anymore. I told her that's fine with me, but if we choose the option to buy sooner, then I will be the sole homeowner. She again said that I was being unfair since it should be both of us. But I just pointed out that since I'm the one paying the deposit and the down payment, so I'm going to be the one who owns the home. She just repeated that I was being unfair several times towards her and that we should be both on the deed as homeowners. How would you handle this?
Okay. I think he gave a great alternative option. If she's uncomfortable with her name not being on the lease, or sorry, on the mortgage or on the home, then you could wait. And like, you don't need to purchase a house right now. I think it is a little bit odd if you're like planning on having like a future with this woman, to not like share the name. But I do see what he means. Like he won the money. He's paying for all of it. She's not putting anything towards the mortgage. So it's only fair that it is his name. I think if it were me and I won the money, 100%, it would be both of our names. We're getting married.
I was going to say, that's a little bit different, though, because we're 7 years in and we're engaged and our wedding is set.
But buying a house together is a big step.
It's a big step.
That is pretty, like, I would say, like, it's almost as big as marriage. I don't know.
Yeah, like, maybe. I would think so.
It depends.
Take us back to when we were 3 years. 3 years in.
Well, we didn't buy a house. We just rented.
No, but we got a house together. But I mean, like, when we were getting this condo, what if we were, like, one of us had much more money saved up, and we're like, I want to buy it instead of renting it.
Yeah. Okay, I see it. I see what you mean.
Right? Like, if I had the money saved up and we were 3 years in, I feel like you'd be kind of hurt if we were like, yeah, I want to buy the house, and you're like, I don't have the money saved up and you're renting. And I was like, well, I still want to buy it anyway. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to be the sole owner of it. And you can just pay me for the utilities and groceries.
You think I would be hurt?
You don't think so? Wouldn't you feel like I want to feel like we're buying this together?
Okay, so wait, you're not on OP's side.
I don't know where I am. I'm trying to work myself through it.
I know. I was going back and forth through this whole story because
that's what I mean. Like, I don't
both
know.
Sides.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm trying to like relate to like where we were at 3 years, and I'm like, okay, if you did that to me, how would I feel? Or if I did that to you, how would you feel? Like, I don't know how I'd feel.
I don't think I would be hurt. I think just because of like our relationship and the like where we were at 3 or 4 years, like we were pretty serious.
Absolutely.
I think moving in together is a big step. Like it's showing that you're serious. It's showing that you want to be committed to that person long term.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like if I won the money, I think I would have put your name on the lease. Or sorry, I keep saying lease. On the house, on the deed, whatever it's called. But I wouldn't be like I wouldn't say that it's unfair if you did the same.
Yeah, I don't know, but his main question is, how would you handle this? And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but, you know, say you had 100,000 and I only had 20,000.
Yeah.
Right? You're putting in 5 times the amount that I am. I think you can have it in the house paperwork that your ownership is 80%.
A percentage, like prorated.
Yeah, and my ownership is 20%.
I have no idea.
And you could put, I think, lawyers can correct me, but I think you can put in the terms being like, if I make a lump sum payment of 80,000, then my ownership goes up to 50%.
I mean, if that's the way it works, that is a good solution. But I don't know if that's the way it works.
I think when I was doing the real estate course, I think I read that you can do that. Maybe your dad can confirm with us, but I think that is a way to do it. Like, you can have split ownership that's not 50-50, from what I understand. Like, every region and country and area is going to be different, but I think where we live, it is possible to say, like, I own a fractional ownership of this house at like 20%.
Okay, let's assume that's not the case where they live.
Oh,
then what?
I would assume that was the case. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Then no. I like he does say that he's like, okay, like, that's no problem. Like, let's just rent for
Then
now. We
wait,
don't need to
yeah.
buy. Like, and you can wait. She's the one who's kind of being like, no, like, it doesn't make sense to rent. Like, we should pay now. I'm like, honestly, sometimes it does kind of make sense to rent.
Yeah, I know. Like
I understand the whole pitch of like, oh, you're throwing money away to a mortgage, but like,
to rent, you mean?
yeah, you're like, if you're throwing money away instead of going towards a
Yeah.
mortgage, but like, if we had bought this place when we moved in, we'd be screwed right now.
I know.
Our mortgage payment would have went up $1,500 because of the variable
rates,
Canadian
yeah.
mortgage rates. And like right now, like, we are paying like almost half of what market value is
What
for this
we would
unit.
have been for a mortgage.
Yeah, we are so far under like market value for this. We're like 30 to 40% under market value because we've been in it for so long. So like, for us in this situation, like, I don't know, I kind of makes sense. Like, yeah, we're not necessarily not having equity, but we're not paying
as
a
much,
crazy
yeah.
amount into interest.
And interest
that's not even
exactly.
going towards principal.
Exactly. Most of it's going towards interest anyway. It's not even the principal.
We're not at risk of losing our house because we are getting foreclosed on. We don't have to pay property tax. We don't have to pay condo fees. We don't have to pay all of that stuff that comes along with it.
Yeah.
We would pay triple the amount if we owned this place right now.
Yeah. I also think it's a little bit weird how he said, okay, you don't have to pay anything towards the deposit, but I want you to handle everything else. Like,
no,
groceries.
he didn't really say that. He
Isn't
says,
that-
I don't expect her to pay towards the mortgage. I'd only expect her to contribute towards utilities and groceries.
See, but then, like, if that's all on her, that's not getting her equity.
He didn't say only on her. He just said contribute.
Okay. If that's the case, if it's like 50-50, yeah, then that's fair.
It would be like a lot of times people move in with people after that person already owns the house.
Yeah, but that's not the case.
I know, but sometimes that happens and they're like, well, if you want to help with like the electricity and the water bill and pay for groceries, that's great. But like, I'm not going to make you pay towards the mortgage.
I know, but I think that's benefiting him because he's getting the equity part, whereas hers are just going to be purely expenses.
Yeah. Well, that's why he said we can wait.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy a house.
That's true. Yeah.
I heard this one story one time where I think it was a confession or a tear off my chest. And he said that he's been telling his girlfriend of like X amount of years that he rents the place. And she's been paying half of the rent with him. And he's been putting it towards his mortgage.
What's the difference though?
She doesn't know that he owns the house. She thinks that they're renting.
Okay, but what's it? Oh, so she's like paying towards equity.
She's
and
paying
not
towards the
getting
equity
any.
and she's not getting any.
That's trashy.
Yeah, by not telling
little.
her. No, by not telling her it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely slimy.
Yeah, it is slimy.
Okay, what's the top comment?
Top comment. I think you shouldn't buy shared property with someone unless you're married to them, or at least definitely 100% want to be married with them. I can agree with that.
So I think they're like also agreeing with us, like
I think.
our side, saying like, okay, if you only want your name on the lease, I keep saying lease, on the mortgage, then like you shouldn't even be with this person. Like you should want to share that with her.
Yeah, and also like, what is your commitment level? Because I feel like the girlfriend versus marriage does have a big thing on it. Because if we're married, even right now, and I went on a game show like Survivor or Big Brother, because those are the ones where
I
I'm
was
like,
thinking The Price is Right.
or like Jeopardy or something. But like, I wouldn't apply for those. I would apply for like Survivor, Big Brother.
Yeah.
And I come back and I've won the money. Like, That's our money.
Yeah.
I'm going to
I
put
would think
all
so
of that
too.
money into a house and like we're 50-50
Yeah.
ownership on it. So there's a part of me that's like, okay, like it's fair that, you know, if you're not there with your commitment level, that you don't want it to be 50-50 because she's not putting in the same amount for you. But at the same time, that's also a little thinking backwards. And but it shows that you're still thinking as an individual.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're not thinking as a team,
partnership.
as a partnership. Like we think as a team and a partnership. Like if we're gonna buy this together, like okay, we're gonna buy this house. Let's like we've been talking about buying a house. Like the last couple of years, we've been like, okay, like what's our game plan? Like, what are we gonna do? Like how much do we need to save up? And I feel like we both had the understanding that okay, when it comes down to buying the house, we might not both be 50-50, and we're not going to cap ourselves at 50-50. We're going to be like, hey, this is all the money I have to buy the house right now. This is all the money that you have right now. We put it together, and that's the amount that we have for our down payment plus bills. And like, okay, if somebody's in a little bit more than the other person, like whatever, we're a team. Like this is what we've come up with together, and then we're going to tackle everything in the future. It's like if you think about it over the grand scheme of things, over the next 60 years of your life and that house and the team and everything like that, and like you're a couple thousand, $10,000-$15,000 apart at the beginning,
not a big deal.
It's going to be nothing in 10, 20 years. Like you continue, like you both earn the equity together. Like it just depends on where you are in your relationship.
Yeah.
Right now in his relationship, he doesn't see them as a team. He's still thinking individual.
And that's not to say like if you prefer things to be that way, that's wrong. This is just our opinion. Like this is the way we would see it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Like if you guys have like gone through this yourselves and it's been successful, like
and there's still valid reasons for him to want it separate. Because what if it doesn't work out? They're only 3 years in. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, you know, he puts all this money into the house. How much did he win off the game show? How how much is it?
Yeah.
500,000? 100,000? 50,000? Like what is it that led to that deposit on the house? Because like say he won $200,000, he puts $200,000 down on a $600,000 house, and he's paying the rest of the mortgage, and he puts her as a homeowner, and then in a year it doesn't work out, and guess what? Now she gets 50% of the equity of the house when she put in nothing, and maybe she's been helping make the mortgage payments. So I don't think that there's anything wrong to protect yourself.
Yeah.
If that's how you feel in your relationship, it's always smart to protect yourself. But there's also nothing wrong where if you're like, this is my ride or die person, this is it, I believe in this commitment, to put them on as a homeowner. You bought it together just because you put in the extra money. It comes down to how much you trust your partner.
100%.
And it's where you were at in your relationship.
Yeah.
And where you go from here is kind of seems like you need to explain to her that at this moment in time, she's not your ride or die yet. Could certainly get there in the future, but at this point, you're not ready for that level of commitment of buying a house together with your own money and everything.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Nice talk.
Thank you. It was a good one. When are we buying a house?
We're buying an RV.
House on wheels.
All right.
Moving along. Oh, Jinx, owe me a Coke.
I said moving on.
Oh, I said moving along. It's the same thing. You owe me a Cottage Springs vodka lemonade, please.
Drink up.
Okay.